Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Man United Agenda. And it is the 1st of April. It is that time. And David Moyes has been interviewed for the second time for the Manchester United job. Whether or not he gets it, let's find out. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Man United Agenda. And yes, you did hear me right. David Moyes has been interviewed for the second time for the Manchester United job. And as always, we're joined by Talk OMONDI, and welcome back to the channel, Eddie. And if you didn't know, guys, it's actually April's Fool's Day.
So you've been putting our leg all day. I've been getting so excited about this appointment, and now you're telling me it's a lie.
No, what he meant was David Moyes. David Moyes. You know, not David Moyes. David
Moyes. Moyes. Our own Moyes.
We've interviewed him for the job on the channel, but unfortunately, he just didn't cut the mustard, so he's been left out hanging out to dry. He ain't Moyes no more.
Yeah, Moyes. He was here to take over Mr. B's position, but he turned the job down.
I'm so offended by that lie that I'm leaving the channel, and Eddie can take my place. April Fools.
Absolutely brilliant, guys. How are we doing anyway? How is everyone feeling today?
Cold. Anyway, it's the start of a new month for me, and I think March Madness wasn't that bad. We got kicked out of Champions League. We're now in 6th place. I know we lost to City as well during March, but we beat Spurs. That was a good result against Conte. But we move on. Now we're in April, and April Foolishness or April Madness, I hope is a better month because we got by the end of this month, we will know if this top 4 business is going to happen or not. I think we've got some key games starting with this weekend, and I can't wait to get going again. It's been a long break. It's cold down in London here, and I want this football fever to warm me up again.
You know what? So, if you put everything into context there, right, if you look at this as a whole, what's happened here? I was reading reports that the team yesterday were told who the manager's going to be. We know we're going to speak about Ten Hag in a moment with the second interview and everything else. Now, for me, if all that has happened, then it puts us in a really good, strong position to actually now go for this prize, which is top 4 now. We know we've got something to go for, something to aim for at the end of the season. We've got no other cup competitions or anything. It's just that is the goal now for this team. And surely, if they are now settled in terms of knowing where we're at and where we're going, surely they've got enough here to get their heads down, concentrate, and go bang. Because one thing's for sure, Arsenal will bottle it.
Eddie?
I'm hoping Arsenal will bottle it, but the football that they're playing right now, they've really got Arteta's philosophy. Really, they're bringing it to realization, and it's like when I saw them beating the likes of Leicester, right? What they did against Leicester. I mean, Leicester had a bit of the game, but when Arsenal were in possession, their quick transitions, they were doing well, and I'm hoping Man United can be on that level to beat them with some kind of transitions in this next game. I mean, I don't know what they've been doing over this break. I mean, it's been international break, so they've been representing their countries. But are Man United going to really step up their game with the football? That should be the real issue right now, apart from all the speculation that's been going around with the manager, possibly Ten Hag and all that. We need to really come back to focus on the football.
Yeah,
that's why I love having Eddie on the show. Eddie,
quick one. Before we do anything on Monday, let's actually start off with the topic, so then we go straight into it. Yeah. So we just go with it. So obviously we know the rumor is he had his second interview. Whether or not it was yesterday or today, the rumors circulating that he does want control of the transfer kit and who he can go and buy. Again, Man United being Man United, if the rumors are right circulating, they don't want to give him full control of it. So is that a back step already? I know Talk saying about being excited and everything else, but at the same time,
well, it's got we know as fans, the directors of football and all this, the blah blahs. But at the end of the day, it's the manager who's got the final plan. He's the one who executes, the actual movement to get the result. So He needs the best tools available to him. So he's got to have a major say in that operation. So if whoever is making this decision, whether it be the Glazers or the people just below them, who are the money men, who are then thinking, look, if we give you control of the transfers, you may come to us with transfers that we can't make work for whatever reason, because obviously we've got to balance the books, blah, 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 keep the owners happy. So for me, that's a bad non-starter. If that's what's been said, I think we can sort of start waving now to Ten Hag. I'll tell you that right now.
Yeah, I mean, I've just got to say real quick, they can't do this thing where they're overruling the manager. We've just seen it with Ole. We've seen it. I mean,
and Jose.
Yeah, with Jose as well. But Ole was supposed to do the rebuild, right? He was supposed to do the rebuild. That's it's not happening. It's like we've actually taken away some bricks from the thing we're supposed to be building, because we're now like almost not even getting top 4, dropping off from second and third position, going way backwards, right? I come back to what I said. I think I said this on a previous show. Ole, for me, I didn't think Ole wanted the likes of Sancho, the likes of Ronaldo, all these guys that seem like commercial signings, because we've seen that Ole plays that counter-attack football, not the possession play that Sancho and Ronaldo are used to. So take for example, if we're getting Ten Hag and then say we're getting some players that are of a different system, maybe we get some counter-attacking players in, it's going to be a whole mishmash of a Frankenstein team again that we've seen in the LA that will fail again. That's if Ten Hag comes in, he's got to have that power over transfers. That's a deal breaker, man.
Yeah. You know what? I think it's been an eventful week with the manager position. I think Ten Hag, he was Bookie's favourite after having an interview, and it looks like they were looking to negotiate a compensation deal. And then we had something really negative with what's his name? Louis van Gaal came in and said, "Oh no, Man United are a commercial club. You want to go to a footballing club, which would be a different club to Man United based on." And we're getting this sort of thing now where they're saying Ten Hag might not be having a transfer kitty and that kind of thing. So we don't want any negativity. We want to give him a job and give him free reign to do what he wants to do. And I think Ralph needs to sort of guide these decisions and not allow the board or anyone else to get in between them, because we've made poor decisions for the last 9 years. That's why we don't win major trophies anymore. And I think going forward, we need to sort of stick with this guy and give him what he wants. You know, it's not going to harm us that much. Where's he made bad signing before in the past? Where's he not developed players in the past? He's got a good track record. So I think at the moment, you have one interview, you agree, everyone should be unanimous and saying, okay, this is the guy we want. They should have already agreed, said, look, if you give me the money and the transfer kitty, I'll be able to do A, B, and C, and leave it, then pass it over to the manager. Don't come back now and say, oh, hold on a minute. Do you reckon we could change that deal about the transfer kitty? You know, what's the point in that? Don't upset the apple cart, because there's, like we said, we've heard, there's 2 other major clubs interested in Ten Hag. He's a sought-after manager, and we don't want to lose out on him. We want to make sure we go with him, go full throttle.
Okay, and guys, a little bit late, but hello, Brad. Welcome to the channel. Welcome to the United Agenda. How are you doing, sir?
How's it going, lads? Thanks for having me. Sorry I was a bit late.
That's okay. That's okay. So, we're just talking regarding the rumors circulating today that Ten Hag had a second interview, but he's not happy at the moment, according to report, because the board want to still hold on to the transfer to make decision for the transfer. How do you see that will affect the club as a whole if we're trying to rebuild the structure of it?
I'm just sorry, mate, just to can I pronounce your name? Is it Solo?
Yes.
Right. Solo, I didn't catch all that, mate. So you asking me, is it how's it going to affect Ten Hag having a cap on his transfer spending? Was that the question?
And also to do with who he can probably bring into the club as well.
Yeah, so there's a couple of things here, folks. First of all, I don't believe any of the reports suggesting that Ten Hag has got a certain This is done to trigger fans, right? Media knows what pisses fans off. They know what gets them angry. I don't believe for 1 minute United have sat down with Ten Hag and said, you've got £60 million to spend, or 80 million, or whatever. That's video game stuff, right? There's really what it's about is Ten Hag asking if United can secure certain players, not how much he has to spend. Ten Hag doesn't care how much United spend. He just wants certain players. Right. I mean, the thing is, there's so many variables that goes into how much a player costs. Costs 40 million plus wages, plus this, plus this, plus this. I mean, honestly, I don't even think you have a hard transfer budget, so to speak. I think, if you remember when Klopp went to Liverpool, there was a lot of talk about the transfer committee, right? And it turned out to be nonsense, right? United obviously have serious problems in how the football club is run. If you look at what Manchester United's feelings are, the one consistent theme thread has been the people above the manager. And I don't believe Manchester United are just a good manager away from being successful again. I think there's serious systemic issues at the football club that the people above the manager never seem to consider. They never seem to hold themselves accountable and say, well, maybe it's more than just a manager. If you look at United's problems, sorry to give you a long-winded answer, lads.
That's okay.
They're pretty much the same over and over again. United have their entropy is 3 years, right? Manager comes into a dressing room that's a mess, players fighting, players wanting to leave, a manager blaming the club blaming the manager. We've seen this cycle over and over again. And we all have jobs, lads, right? Whatever job you work at, you adjust to the environment you inherit, right? So if it's toxic, eventually it will become a toxic place to work, no matter how positive you are. Whatever that environment is, you inherit. But the environment is created by two kinds of people. It's created by those that have authority, because that's what people respect, right? And it's created by incentives. So how you incentivize people usually determines their behavior, right? I mean, every sales rep in the world knows this, right? So incentivized to sell, and they'll sell at any price. So when you've got players inside a football club that are incentivized to be individual brands for maximum monetization, then how on earth do you ever foster an environment of collective, teamwork, working towards a goal that isn't selfish? Because when United lose, lads, what you have is 26 George Clooney's going into overdrive with PR machines, trying to blame everyone else. And you see this with the international break. How many players have turned around during that international break and said, you know what? I take responsibility for what has happened over the last 4 or 5 years. It's players saying, I don't feel loved. I want to go here. I want to go here. I haven't got a right position. This nonsense. As if someone else's fault why United are losing. Sorry,
what's your name? What's your real name? Is it
Brad?
Brad. That's Phil. Sorry, I just meant.
Yeah, he just put it's Phil. It's Phil. It's not Brad. Though,
I mean, I can see that actually there's been some sort of truth in these reports in terms of, we know like potential players don't sell shirts. You're not going to bring a player who's saying, this player there, this David White he's going to be a great player. He'll sell you loads of shirts. He's going to go, who the effing knows David White? Who's he? I don't know who he is.
Well, let me ask
you. On the other hand, if the board are saying to Ten Hag, yeah, look, we want to buy, we've got our eye on Declan Rice, but Ten Hag says, well, I don't know. I'm not so sure about Declan Rice. I think I could identify better players. What's the shirt value? This is, as you've just said, we all know that the club are all about the dough. The people who are above and in between, the top and the bottom, they're the money people. So if they're identifying, the wrong kind of targets, this is where there could be a problem. If it's all about, where's the money going to come from?
Just on that question, mate, because this is a really, really important point. Do you think this Manchester United board would give any manager the authority to sell David Beckham? No chance, right? Do you think this Manchester United board would have given a manager the authority to sell Ruud van Nistelrooy? United won the European Cup the year after they sold Van Nistelrooy, right? So the commercial value of David Beckham would guarantee that he stays beyond any manager. Yet for Ferguson, it wasn't just about getting rid of David Beckham. It was about sending a message to everyone else inside the football club, right? And Manchester United forgot his one golden rule. Look, Fergie wasn't perfect, don't get me wrong, and he's responsible for the Glazers in large part. There's no doubt about that. But he said something that I completely agree with him on, that United can't forget. When they're trying to recreate the Ferguson era, they want to do it on an ad hoc basis, a little bit of this, a little bit of that, but not fully.
But that's the impossible dream, though. Phil,
Well, one of the things
we know
Ferguson-
that it can't happen. That can never happen again.
But one of the things Ferguson said that transcends all generations, that doesn't change. The minute a player becomes bigger than the manager, you're finished. And that is exactly what's happening.
Yeah, we can't have that. We don't want to see that at any club. But again, for me, there's a huge sort of mismatch here in terms of what the club are wanting from a manager, but then saying to them, but we want control over the main aspect of your ability to be successful for us, which is picking the players. It's crazy.
I think Phil makes a good point. I do reject these allegations about the money and that kind of thing, and I do actually agree with Phil also that he would have identified players to fit the term Man United around. If you're in the interview, you can say, "Well, this guy, we need A, B, and C. This person to come in, and I can identify these players. I've got experience in Germany. I've got experience in Holland, and I know certain players who can do the job." And he's qualified to state that, and the board could be listening to that point exactly. So maybe this topic that we are discussing today, maybe it is just to get more podcasts talking or whatever. You know, we've been duped, guys. We've been duped.
April's Fool.
Well, you know, that's a couple of things they know trigger fans, right?
Yeah.
That will get guaranteed clicks or downloads, and one of those is, oh shit, you need to have no transfer budget, because they know it's just going to infuriate people. Now, clearly, you need to have a number in mind that they're not going to go over, right? But that's a fluid number, right? That's not, you know what, he's going to cost, if we buy this player, it'll be 80 million and £1. We're not giving you that money. I mean, this is absurd, right? And it's done to trigger fans. I obviously need to have a budget, and I almost feel that if United can't finish fourth, it would be bad. I almost feel like qualifying for the Europa League would actually be a better thing for United, because they're not good enough to win the Champions League. They're nowhere near it. And that Europa League is an amazing breeding ground for young players that are on the fringes of the first team to get quality football, which is truthfully a more accurate parameter of where United are at.
Phil, I don't understand. I think it's about the transfer budget. I think it's more about the names that are involved. I said before, I think you know if we go out and pay 120 million for Declan Rice, for example, all of a sudden Declan Rice becomes the name. Everybody, all the Man United, especially all the younger fans and everything else, we want Declan Rice. I want Declan Rice because he's the most expensive player that we've ever bought. And then that turns into, for the Glazers, is ka-ching, ka-ching, ka-ching. We know that.
100%,
you know, it's massive. So this is where, for me, that's where the problem lies.
Well,
this is why the likes of people like Ralph have got to be hired for a proper role. I really want Ralph to have some kind of role. I mean, John Murtaugh, I mean, I don't think he's been succeeding for the last 6 years. Ralph has got to be in there because he will be able to identify targets that are not going to cost 120 mil. He's going to look at their footballing ability, which can be cultivated for them to turn into a commercial star at Man United. He's going to be able to get the diamonds in the rough to be improved. That's what we need. Because I think with Rice coming in for that amount of money, will put on that kind of Maguire pressure. And we might even see him be the next Maguire doing mistakes in midfield.
Well,
pressure.
And what's your name, big man? Your name disappeared off the screen there. Sorry. Eddie, you're 100% correct, big man. And here's the other thing, right? The one thing I would say about Rangnick, right? So Rangnick was brought into RB Leipzig, those clubs. It's one thing saying 19-year-olds for RB Leipzig and saying get us in the top 4 in the Bundesliga, which is exactly what Rangnick's strengths are. Then saying go send 19-year-olds from Man United and compete with City and Liverpool, right? Because that should be United's parameter, right? And you know, when it comes to Declan Rice, you would imagine if United had a strategy of sending Declan Rice, rule number 1 would have been don't stop Jesse Lingard going to West Ham.
Yeah, it's true.
Quick
one, guys. If you're watching for the first time, 24 in the chat, hit that like. If you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button as well. There's lots of comments in it. So let's go, Armando. You want to take some of these comments away, and then we're going to move on to the next topic.
Everybody. Like Errol's saying, press the like button if you don't mind. Got Football United TV in the house. That's Matty. How you doing? Pat Lawless is in the house as well. He says, big up, gents. Big up to you, Pat Lawless. I hope you're excited about the weekend. Very good points he's saying to Eddie. That was earlier on. Big up, Eddie. Chris.
Welcome to the channel, Chris.
He's one of your boys, Phil, possibly. He says, great to see Phil.
Chris McTeague.
Okay. Connor saying, I'd love Anthony at Ajax. If we're able to bring him in, Ten Hag, we're happy. Michael O'Brien in the house.
Big up, Michael. Welcome.
He says, got to be a lot of wages off the books this summer, so we should have more money to spend. Connor again saying, agreed. Lots going out, so we should be able to bring in multiple players. Have to buy according to need, though. This is what Phil was saying. Really good point there. Got Cosman in the house as well. Chris as well saying there isn't even one single football person on the pick board. Football is an inconvenience to them. They just want to see the club's historic name to pull sponsors and football irrelevant. This is and Gov saying, please ask him about the new ask Phil about the news regarding the manager situation and when he to information. Okay, decision. Do you want to, Phil, just log that one for a minute?
Yeah. So basically, the conversations that I've had with people at United and other places, other people that are involved in this, United are being relatively cautious about what they disclose. But from what I can gather, there's taking some unfair criticism that I don't understand. But if I was to put my money on who I would expect to get the job at this point, it'd be Ten Hag. But for a lot of different reasons, look, I said this earlier in the week. The United candidates aren't even meeting with Richard Arnold until they pass a meeting with Solskjaer and John Murtagh, or Fletcher and John Murtagh. Now, that's a good thing, lads, right? Regardless of what we think of John Murtagh and Darren Fletcher, they may not be the sexiest names in the world, right? And I understand that they're not proven quality. But just because they're John Murtagh and Darren Fletcher doesn't mean they're incompetent. And so
how can you not say that John Murtagh is incompetent when we've seen the likes of Van der Beek come in and not be used for 2 years? A champion.
And it's a fair point.
It's incompetence for me.
No, Eddie, that's a fair point. But what I want to say is I'm not advocating that they're qualified. I'm not advocating that they're exceptional at their job. I'm just saying that on the reasons that people are rendering them incompetent, I don't agree. Now, John Murtagh, there's a fair question to be asked. When it comes to Van der Beek, to me, Solskjaer takes responsibility. He may never have signed him, but he was the one that decided to keep him. And once you decide to keep him, he's yours, right? So, to me, I think when you look at how United are going about signing players today, right? It's a multiple evaluation process. Manager's supposed to get the final call. It's an amalgamation of forensic scouting discussions, and there just isn't going to be a football club that gets every signing right. It just isn't going to happen. To me, the problems at United have nothing to do with John Murtagh and have nothing to do with the manager. To me, the problems at United are a result of the way the football club is run and the fact that it's not a football club where winning football games is the most important thing. And as long as that's second in the list of priorities, you are going to keep having these problems. And so to me...
Phil, let me ask you real quick, though.
Yes,
yeah?
go ahead.
We've seen Ole Gunnar Solskjaer played with that counter-attacking system for a good few seasons. And in this later season, he wasn't backed with counter-attacking players to suit his system. He was backed with the likes of Varane, high-pressing defender, the likes of Sancho that needs high-pressing and a bit of a possession, and Ronaldo, who needs the team to have possession. These are all things against Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. So for me, that says Ole was not aligned with the director of football. This is a failure of these guys that are running the club. So for me, John Murtagh has got to take a big bit of flack for that.
So here's the thing. Fair point. The only thing I question, honestly, lads, on the signings over the summer is Ronaldo. Varane is one of the top centre backs in the world, right? And he was available at a knockdown price that Player United have wanted for years, right? Varane to me hasn't been the problem. It's been Harry Maguire's been the problem. Sancho to me, exceptional young talent.
On Monday.
What's that?
On Monday.
Hey, I'm a Harry Maguire fan, So I'm offended. Let me just take a breather. Let me just breathe.
Yeah, to me, the only player that's questionable in that is Ronaldo, and I don't like Ronaldo. To me, he's not just a problem this season; he's a problem next season because United need a striker that's going to play in that central striking role. What do you do with Ronaldo?
I think he's going to go. I think he's going to go.
I think he's going to go.
Who's our top goal scorer? Our top goal scorer is Ronaldo right now.
Yeah,
He's saved
but I mean, I think we all accept that we need
in the group stages of the Champions League, we got through based on him. He scored some really vital goals this season, and I feel him coming in has been the catalyst for weeding out all the bad apples in the club because his high professionalism, his high standards as well, is exposing a lot of people, and that combined with Ralph as well coming in, I feel has been a major factor in the cleansing of the football club.
Let me tell you why I found it. Sorry to interrupt, lads, because this is an important caveat, okay? And this is something that I have been told 100%, and I know it's factually true. So when we look at the divisions inside Manchester United, it's not just in the dressing room, lads. It's in the working staff as well, right? So essentially what you've got is you've got a football club split in two, right? I'm talking about the major personnel. I'm not talking about the lower end people that aren't affecting. They're more a victim than anything else. So you've got Carrington and you've got Old Trafford. And the thing is, and this has happened before at United, where you've got the Ferguson staff that we've been there a long time that have a very close relationship with Ferguson. And a lot of those people that have very close relationships with Ferguson have more authority than their superiors because they can't be touched. Like I know, for example, an issue between two very senior employees at Manchester United, I won't name, right? That caused huge problems with the working environment inside the football club because they don't like each other. And the problem is one of them's untouchable because they're very close to Ferguson. Now, there's a reason why class of 92 don't get considered for the manager's job. David Gill and Ed Woodward hate each other, right? And have done from day one. So David Gill was on the impression that Ed Woodward was trying to take his job long before he did. They don't like each other. They don't like, this is why Gary Neville and these in class of 92 are very selective about who they go after, right? And so there's, like for example, whenever Mourinho was sacked, all the players wanted Michael Carrick, right, to take that job. Woodward is very reluctant to put the class of 92 in any of those senior roles. Ferguson would like those people put in senior roles, but there's constant division between the working staff, the playing staff. You've got Ronaldo that's loyal to Ferguson, right? Who has major issues with newer signings at the football club, like Harry Maguire, right? I mean, they definitely had a conflict, right? No matter what Harry Maguire says, 100%. So you essentially got some of the older players that are remnants from a previous era that don't like the unprofessionalism, that don't like what they're seeing today, right? But the problem is this has been cultivated by the people above them, because as soon as Ferguson left, all the power got usurped, went back upstairs, and they are not giving it back. It's a football club. It's a business that happens to play football now. And
Phil, that's what Phil. That's
the players just didn't keep their promises. It's a big problem, lads. This is getting worse.
That's the thing. Before we were sold, so under Fergie and Gill, we were a football club.
Yeah.
It was all geared from the top to bottom to football, right linear line. And then as soon as we were sold, like you said, we were split in two. Got into this, like, first of all, it's the finances. So secondly, then it's the football. So yeah, I can imagine this being the case where you're going to have this kind of infighting in terms of, well, we're on the side of football, and then the others are on the side of, well, we've got to look after the finances. Whereas, and if that is actually what is happening, like we keep saying, we're going to be banging our heads against the wall for the next however long it takes for the Glazers to either sell the club or to be sort of dragged kicking and screaming into a more sort of, a better way of running the club. One of the two.
Completely
it doesn't bode well. Doesn't bode well, does it?
Can I just say real quick, what Phil has described is just like, it reflects what the team looks like.
Yeah.
Where it's like
Yeah.
a mishmash of styles. People that want to do counter-attack, people that want to do possession, some people.
Yeah,
It's
you're
more
right, man.
counter-attack based, but it's like there's different players that don't fit. So
Yeah,
You know,
So-
my thing is sometimes you have to have war to get peace, and this is why it's good. All this things being aired out, all this conflict, all this sort of civil war within the club. We have to go through this process to have some peace finally, and and sort out the football side of thing, and sort out the board side of things, which I don't really know much about. I'm just focused on the football side of things, you know.
Yeah.
And I don't see why the board side of things should affect the football development. Like the whole topic is why Ten Hag should have control of the football club and the football side of things. He should be coaching the players and bringing in players with the right mentality and refresh the whole squad again.
Yeah.
So I just want to think this is really good. This is why I'm saying Ronaldo coming in, it might have stirred things up, but at least now we're filtering out all the bad apples, and I think that's a great for the club going forward.
Last question. Sorry, because we got to move on. Last question to Phil, and it's from Pat. Take this one. Phil, why is it gone? Why is it gone? Go on.
So you've been asked here, Phil, when you were talking about the infighting and all that kind of thing. Is that why in class 92? Is that why Nicky Butt left?
I honestly don't know why he left, lads. I don't know, but like you said, I do know. You know, it's possible that Nicky Butt may have gone some way to reconcile his relationship. There's just with some of the people above, the manager, but there's just a massive distrust there. And this is Woodward, knowing everyone else knows how much the certain people leak about him. You know, this is not going to be popular, lads, but Ed Woodward is actually a decent human being. I've met Ed a couple of times, and his heart was in the right place. Now, I've eviscerated him. You know, I've gone after him heavily because I vehemently disagree with a lot of what he has done and how he run the football club. As a human being, he's actually quite a nice guy. He's exceptionally well educated in his particular role, but he knows nothing about football. And to me, I think one of the biggest, Ed Woodward, when he came in, tried to have a relationship with the fans, which David Gill never did. David Gill, may have been good at his job, but David Gill David Gill lied to the fans, right? He lied to Andy Walsh, who of course was head of Amuse at the time, and turned around and famously said two things. One, that is the road to ruin, and he was correct on that. And two, he turned around and said, if I wasn't in the position that I was in other words, chief executive, I'd be in the trenches with you. Then proceeded to lie and say he didn't say those things when he did. And so Ferguson, we know, led us down the path of Glazers because of Panorama's investigation into his son, right? And the common myth is Alan Shearer chose Newcastle over Manchester United. Alan Shearer chose Newcastle because David Beckham's agent, Tony Stevens, who was Gareth Shearer's agent, threatened to sue Ferguson because Ferguson said to Beckham, if you sign with my son, you will get a better contract. Tony Stevens threatened Ferguson and then proceeded to not let. Now, I got this from Mark Bosnich, who was also Tony Stevens' client. So I think what we've had, sadly, United are in a situation because of so many people running the football club to the best interest. And even today, lads, we're selecting managerial candidates that we think will play nice. Not an Antonio Conte that's going to stand in a press conference and call you out for not signing the players that you need to be successful, right? What's Pochettino and Ten Hag? They're nice guys that aren't going to go out and rock a boat.
For me, I don't really give two hoots about the internal goings on in the club if we are getting the results on the pitch.
Correct, I agree, mate. Yes.
You know what I mean? If like I say, for David Gill, whatever he was doing, it was getting results because he was doing.
Yeah, but yes and no. He pushed the club into the hands like Glazers, mate, and that is not acceptable.
Yeah, that is what it is, and we weren't to know it at the time, and maybe, just maybe, he wasn't to know exactly how.
Nah, man, everyone knew at the time. It was well documented. I mean, there was massive protest. The thing is, everybody knew back then what £750 million worth of debt under the football club's books wasn't a good thing. I think David Gill has got no out on this, and nor does Ferguson. They knew.
Sorry, can I just ask this? Did you say David Gill assisted with the Glazers
Sure,
getting
absolutely. Yes.
I thought that was Ed Woodward because that's what I heard.
No.
That he
Ed Woodward
brokered
didn't
the
work.
deal to
Ed
help
Woodward
them get
no.
them charged.
Ed Woodward was an investment banker, not a Manchester United employee at the time. Ed Woodward became a Manchester United employee later. David Gill was the one who recommended the takeover. David Gill initially said no when it looked like, because it looked like it wasn't going to be successful, right? And quite rightly said it was far too heavy with debt. And that was the road to ruin, and this wasn't in Manchester United's best interest. Rangnick changed his mind and said, well, actually, the offer, the tender changed, which is nonsense, right? Once he realized it was going through, he protected himself. So no question about it. Not only did he assist in that, he lied profusely to fans, to everyone else. And as we've seen with Ferguson, if Ferguson didn't back that takeover, then the risk for the banks would have been enormous. There was no Manchester United without Ferguson. That deal doesn't go through unless Ferguson and Gill support it. No question.
Yeah. So
Guys,
we're gonna quick go on.
Yeah. Sorry, some really interesting comments in there and some really good chat. But I think I'm more concerned about Leicester for now. We can come back to this another day.
So, guys, we're going to talk about Leicester, and we're going to talk about. We're going to spend about 5 minutes or so on this, and it's interesting. And if we go to, we'll kickstart with Phil. Rangnick backed Maguire. Obviously got booed for the England national team. Stories come out. Obviously, solidarity showed amongst quite a lot of clubs and things like that. Still backing him. Players came out and backed him. Tomorrow, I'm praying and hoping he goes out, he gets a goal, and all the fans that booed him can eat humble pie, basically. Because I don't think it's very unfair him going on international duty for fans to boo him after the successful in tournaments where he's had for England as well. So do you agree sort of with the Rangnick statement, Phil?
Look, I agree with club managers defending their players. You know, I remember Ferguson doing this with Beckham whenever Glenn Hoddle hung him out to dry, right? I must admit I did feel a bit for Harry Maguire. But lads, this is going to maybe seem, I don't know, an inappropriate comment, but I draw it merely for comparison. There's been more outrage over Harry Maguire being booed, which was wrong, than what Mark Walters and John Barnes when they had bananas thrown at them, right? And they were, they're spot apples, just deal with it. But now we've got every manager in the Premier League. We've got players coming out saying we need to protect Harry Maguire. Look, I'm not saying it's a nice thing, and I agree that, he's owed a bit more appreciation from England fans. But I think he's supposed to be a captain of Manchester United. You're supposed to be able to deal with these types of things. And I have seen no evidence at all ever that tells me Harry Maguire is a captain in any capacity. I know there's different ways to lead, but show me which way he leads. Because if there's one thing that's blatantly obvious, United are lacking leaders. Blatantly obvious. Right?
Yeah.
And Harry Maguire said something to me that was totally unforgivable earlier in the season when he said, I'm only here because I have to be, because his entire season, that sums up his entire season to me. And I think, for United, truthfully, there's no way Harry Maguire's captain next season. No way, right? And I think they'll do that at the end of the season. I think he's captain in name only anyway right now. And like I said to you previously, guys, there was issues between him and Ronaldo in the dressing room. That's a fact, right? There's massive fractures inside the dressing room. So to me, I understood why Rangnick defended him, right? But I think it's also incumbent upon Harry Maguire to stand up and not look for protection all the time.
You know what I heard,
Hold
guys? Did you hear, because I was thinking about, okay, Maguire's done well for England in that last World Cup, in other games, but then for Man United, it's been off form. I heard that Southgate, when he came into the job, he said he was going to pick people based on form. And that's for club. That's for the club. But we're seeing now he's just picking Maguire based on how he fits into his system. Yeah, that makes sense as well. But then I'm thinking some people may be thinking he's gone back on his word of picking players on form, on their pure form for their club, and they may be booing because of that kind of thing. Maguire, for me, I don't think he should have been picked because he's had such a bad season, and he's been exposed for not being able to play in the system at his club. And for me, his form is off. Even if he fits into Southgate's system, I think there should be other defenders such as Tomori. Tomori in AC Milan is in a title race, and he could win a Scudetto and not be in the team for England. That seems like that's a bit unfair for people that are in form. Yeah. So,
you're bang on, mate. You're bang on 100%. I agree. Tomori has been excellent for AC Milan this season. Why not? You know, Maguire's convinced all his managers he absolutely must play, or the world will stop.
All right.
In defense of Maguire, the defense is here.
I would defend better than Maguire, but talking you come next, please, because I've got something to defend.
I'm just listening.
Don't throw Barbie in the corner. Amonde's coming.
You want me to come in the flare now?
Because we got to move on in a minute. We've got about a minute or two.
Mark Waters and John Barnes, their bananas were thrown in domestic football. Mark Waters at Rangers, John Barnes at Liverpool. We've seen the pictures, still evidence. John Barnes was booed for England, and that's because they felt he wasn't performing at the same level that he was performing for Liverpool. But when he's playing internationally against these teams, they would double up on him and he would free up space for others and create a chance like that. That's how intelligent he was. So he didn't have to dribble past everyone, score a goal like Brazil, or score like he was scoring 27 goals with Liverpool in 88 or whatever. He's still able to perform intelligently for the team. So I think it's a big difference. And that was a long time ago, when now we're in this era where people are actually going down to a knee and everyone's racism, as if to say it's done away with because they talk about it. You know, I think you can't compare the two eras like that. I think with Harry Maguire, my issue is he's playing for international level. If it's club football, I can understand away fans booing, that kind of thing. I was just thinking to myself, we discussed this the other day on the show. Who's booing him? It's not Man United fans. And why would you boo? Why would you want, with an England World Cup year, we just had to draw, why would England be booing their players and want them to perform badly? It's like, I understand, were they booing Stuart Pearce when he missed in 1990? No, they supported him. Were they booing Southgate and all that when they missed, or Waddle, all that kind of thing? David Batty Ince, you know, it's different. So I think so you have to ask the question, why are they booing Harry Maguire, and why are people defending him? I think Southgate defended him. There was an issue you were saying about Southgate was playing players on form, but Southgate said when he selected the squad that he's picking Harry Maguire. It's a no-brainer for him because of the 5 years Harry Maguire's had with him. He's been a first teamer, England World Cup semi-final, finals of the Euro, taking penalty as well, putting in the top wins, that kind of thing. He's really stepped up, and that's for England. And his form this year has been poor. You compare it to last year. Last year he was decent, and we were raving about him, especially me. I thought he was a rock in the defense.
I agree with that.
I think the last thing, my final point is, I think you can only get the best out of players. You have to encourage them and get behind them. You have a lot of thick skin playing for Man United, and this guy, unfortunately, he's come in. He's been selected as captain. He's a guy who's playing at whole. Wasn't really noticed. It took him a few years to step up, and he stepped up at every level. Coming up to Leicester, coming up to Man United, playing in Champions League, playing internationally, and he stepped up. And you have to give him credit. He's got his limitations, granted, but you have to, in a team and coaching, you have to coach the team and enable the team to support people with some negative limitations. Even Ronaldo, it can't run and do the work that he used to do. So you have to support each other and know your strengths and weaknesses. So whether
Let's get real quickly though on Monday.
You got a big heart. You got a big heart, man. I like that. That's good.
On Monday, can I just ask you real quick though? Like, what do you think to Southgate saying that Maguire is actually the best at his club? He said that, right? When we as Man United fans have seen he's been maybe one of the worst performers. That for me kind of contradicts a little bit of the backing.
I think that's a case of media training. This is what they do. You don't bury people in front of the public.
Yeah, I agree with that.
So what he might say to the cameras when he goes in the changing room, he might say, "You're fucking shit" or whatever. You know, so that's part and parcel of it.
I hope you're not a manager, big man.
I am.
I'm not playing for you.
Yeah, exactly. Wow.
Well, yeah,
Talk-
I'll just end on. I
No,
understand the
listen.
backing for England, but maybe not back him saying he's the best.
Sorry,
ever
one
Man
last
United.
point. Can I make one last
But
point
you're
on
right,
this?
Ned, you're right.
Can I make one last point? One last point. Look at our right backs in England. We've got a lot of really quality right backs at the moment. It used to be left backs. We had Bridge and Cole and all these guys. You mentioned Tomori. I think Tomori is a good shout. But beyond that, I think Harry Maguire is still our number one with Stones. I can't see Ben White. Ben White's not experienced enough yet. You've got Cody Connor, or what Connor Cody, whatever his name is. These guys aren't up to standard. We don't have a great backup for centre backs. Tyrone Mings, forget about it. So Harry Maguire is essential. He's probably one of our better centre backs for England.
What about Ben White? Mark, what about Ben White?
I'm not having it. He's more experienced at championship level. He's got to play consistently, week in, week out at Champions League and international, and then I'll be a better judge. He played the other day against Switzerland, made the right error. Good player, but I just think he's been built up too early until I want to see. You have to have experience first. And Harry Maguire, 5 years ago, Harry Maguire was playing in the World Cup and in team in the tournament.
Ben White's on form for his club. He's on form, you know. This is what a lot of managers do.
Yeah, I agree. The Champions League, international, week in, week out, then we see. Then I can be a better judge.
Fair enough, mate.
All right. So, guys, there is 22 in the chat. If you're new to the channel, just hit the subscribe button. If you are old to the channel, you still ain't hit that like button yet, just hit the like button, guys. And we are actually talking a little bit about Man United Leicester, but I think the topics is everywhere today, swinging everywhere today. So we are going to get back onto that. But before we do that on Monday, just hit some of these quickly for me, please. And then I am going to do solo predicted 11 and see with sort of Phil. Phil's new to the channel, and see whether he's going to laugh or cry at my predicted 11.
Just want to say, yeah, Phil, you've been a great introduction to the show. Really got a lot of positive things to say. Here, Ollie's asking, the guy's telling the truth. Talking about you, Phil. Fergie was promised cash and probably a knighthood as well. As he is half in jest.
Typical Liverpool fan, isn't it? Typical Liverpool fan.
Michael O'Brien, big up Michael. He's saying Captain Bruno is incoming. Feels Bruno should possibly be selected for captain. Let's see here. Sorry, I mean, it's all over the place with the comments. Let's see. Here we go. Phil, 1980. How you doing, man? He says there's no structure, no plan, no vision at the club. No, at present, sorry. We have had this in spades under Ferguson since he left. We don't have these traits, all individual. We don't play as a team. That's a great point there. And just want to say hi to Alexandro, all the way from Puerto Rico.
Puerto Rico!
Beautiful Puerto Rico. Que lindo,
And final one, once again, for Michael, he says thoughts on the partnership of the fans in who they want as a manager, set up for half the fan base to be expecting the manager to fail if it's not their guy in charge.
Yeah.
And bath time with Vaughan, sorry, is in the house. Just say good evening to you. Bruno would be a shocking captain. So there's still some discussion about.
We've got this one as well from Chris.
Chris is saying, to be honest, lads, I'm zero interested in the Leicester game. I'm more concerned about the club problems. Okay.
Yeah. So yeah. So guys,
that's what it seemed like in the press conference. Like, do you remember? I think for all nothing was asked about the Leicester game. I heard
no, it wasn't. Nothing was.
Questions about Pogba. Questions about Maguire being booed. Yeah. So the one was the question was asked about Pogba. Rangnick said obviously regarding Pogba, because of injury to players, also he was injured. Pogba can play as a 6, at 8, or a 10 he was talking about. He then was talking about Ronaldo was the only sort of forward we have within the team due to obviously Mason Greenwood and Martial is unavailable. So he's only left Ronaldo. What else do we have about it? Maguire is a valuable player for us, and he's our captain, and I will back our captain, and he's my captain. You had the one and then he laughed and said about what was it? He laughed and then spoke about Cavani in like a jest, sort of like a way to say he's fit, but he doesn't want to play. Wow.
He's saving himself. So from the press conference, there was nothing regarding the Leicester game, which was surprising. And right now on the Man United agenda, we're actually doing a preview show for the Leicester game, and we're not talking about it. So, but yeah,
we're being told it's not important.
Exactly, it's not important.
Shut down the season right now.
Yeah, close the season. So, guys, my predicted 11 talk. We're going to kickstart with you first once it's up. Drum roll for it. And I've heard in the comment already, I cannot put up injured play like I normally do. It's my predicted 11, guys. I can do whatever. Before we go, though, I just want to say big up to Jay, Bill, Josh. Big up. Welcome back, bro. Let's remove this. Phil, this is the first time you've been on to the United Agenda. So I always do my team selection every single week. What do you make of this lineup I've done? So I've gone for Maguire.
So when you mentioned it about 5-10 minutes ago, I scribbled down mine. Let me tell you what mine was: De Gea, Shaw, Maguire, Varane, Wan-Bissaka, Fernandes, McTominay, Pogba, Sancho, Ronaldo, Rashford. So slightly different to yours. I'm not saying that's my preferred lineup. I'm saying that's what I expect it will look like. Obviously, the Pogba situation, he's not a natural left-hand sided player. When Bruno Fernandes was saying, we asked the question, can these two play in the same team? And I don't think we ever got a proper answer. We had a period of time during that Solskjaer finished second where they played well together. But I feel that when you look back at the last game United played against Leicester, one of the things that was interesting was the criticism that Brendan Rodgers leveled at United after that game and it was similar criticism to what Ralph Hasenhüttl said about United. They're easy to play through the lines. Their midfield doesn't press properly. I want to see something completely different to what we saw against Leicester, because the reason why United are losing games is unforgivable. It's fine if you're not good enough. It's fine if you have an off day. But what's not okay is you're losing games because you're not doing the bare minimum that you expect from a professional footballer. It's a must-win game for United. It's at home. I think they will win it. But with United, you can never say anything with any degree of confidence because they're just so unpredictable. But Leicester have been poor, and I have a feeling United will win this tomorrow. Is it tomorrow or Sunday?
Saturday, tomorrow. 5:25 kickoff.
Yeah, because I know. So tomorrow I have a feeling that United will. If you look at Leicester are missing Ndidi, Danny Ward, Bertrand, Jamie Vardy, all Brighton's doubtful. So I think United will be all right.
Let's go to Eddie. Eddie, you've done this before with me. For the first time, I don't think I got injured player in the team.
That's good that Leicester got some injuries there. I heard it was an NDD missing Vardy.
Yeah, NDD's out. Yeah, Vardy's out. Key and important because Vardy literally every time we play against him. You got to think as well, Man United, Leicester. We haven't beaten Leicester in 3 games now? The last 3 meetings. Or worse, last game we played them, we lost 4-2 to them. Yeah. And the prior to that was 3-1 in the FA Cup quarterfinal.
I remember before those last 3 games, like Man United's record against Leicester was pretty much just like perfect for the last 3 years or 4 years. Like they couldn't even get a point against United. But really for this game, I'm not liking your 11, Soda. I'm not liking that midfield, man. I don't want Scotty to come back in. He's not technical enough, right? We heard Phil saying about how bad Man United looked in that first game against Leicester. Big gaps in between the lines.
Maguire, mate, in that first game. Ooh.
Maguire and De Gea as well. They can't play at the back. I don't want to see them play at the back.
Well, Maguire was rushed back from injury, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was. Yeah, he was. Yeah. Maguire was rushed back.
Right. So the midfield, we noticed the engine room. That has got to be really backed up with technical players. So I want Scott to come out, and I'd put Matic in there. I'm thinking back to the Watford game.
You know what? Yeah, I'm on there smiling.
Yeah, maybe you're back on what I was saying, but remember the Watford game where Matic and Fred were playing in the holding position. They were controlling the game, especially Matic. Matic, for saying that he's like the OAP in midfield, he can't play 2 games in a row. He was governing that midfield.
Can I ask you a question, Eddie? Did Omonde send you anything to your house today or something like that? So what's going on?
Flowers.
We just know ball, don't we, Omonde? That's what it is.
Great minds.
It's the parallel thinking. So Matic got to come in there with Fred. And I liked seeing Pogba on that left with Bruno and Elanga doing a bit of that inverted wing play. I noticed against Watford, he was dragging players infield, and it was creating space in certain positions for other players to get into. It was creating space for the overlap. It was doing things like that. So maybe, but you can't drop Sancho though, can you?
You can't drop him.
No. Maybe Sancho. Yeah, Sancho stays in there. But yeah, so I think all that would change with your with your 11 is McTominay in there for McTominay. And sorry, Matic in there for McTominay for more of that technical play.
Would you really manage for McTominay?
Say again?
Would you really manage for McTominay? Yeah.
Yeah, I've just been bagging on about how technical he is, man. Remember Watford, the amount of times he was carrying the ball, making good passes. I mean, Phil, when we look at Scott, when he tries to carry the ball, he's almost falling over half of the time. When he tries to pass, it's maybe overhit some of the time. He makes some good passes when he's not under pressure.
And if we get caught, because listen, Leicester at the moment, they're all over the shop. They don't know whether they're attacking or they're defending. They don't know what they're doing. They're all over the shop. They're leaking goals like crazy. Yeah. Right? If we get caught with Matic too far up the pitch, we know what Leicester like to do. They will press you. They will get into you for the ball. They catch us in. They pack that midfield, which they may well do. They'll catch us out. Again, we'll be stuffed in the midfield.
I think we'll have Fred to do those kind of recovery runs for.
Will that
Matic
be enough though? Just one?
I'm not sure.
I think we'll need both of them.
Yeah, I'll still go with Matic, man. I'll still go with Matic.
The only player I'm changing there is I'm taking Pogba out. I'm putting Marcus Rashford.
Oh, talk, man.
Okay.
Talk on Rashford.
I don't know about that
week,
one. I don't know about that one. Let me finish mine, though, innit? And then we've got to hear what Talk's got to say for Rashford to be in this team, because I
can't wait for this one.
I'm thirsty to hear about that. But Dalot, I'm not liking Dalot, to be honest. I mean, yeah, Wan-Bissaka with his lack of touch, a little bit funny, but Dalot, I don't even like the way he crosses the ball, or he tries a lot of shots as well from right back, which is weird. I don't even like that. I have him on my podcast. A bit more of a chance to come back in. I would give Wan-Bissaka more of a chance to come back in and try and earn his place back, because I'm not convinced of Dalot. But yeah,
I have Dalot on my podcast next week. I'll play this for him.
Come on, you can clip it, man. Play it. But yeah, so I'll finish on putting Wan-Bissaka and Matic in for those guys solo.
Okay, thank you. Talk, and then Omondi's going last.
Yeah, I've just like I've said what I've said about Leicester. I mean, they're all over the shop. They're changing the formations left, right, and centre. They may even go for a free at the back. We may see a free at the back just to try and nullify any threat that we've got going forward. But I mean, for me, like I said, I would be putting Marcus Rashford in there instead of Paul Pogba.
Can you tell me why, though, Rashford on his current form?
Just simply for that reason, because he needs to snap out of this bad phase that he's in. You know, and what better time than right now when we really need him to come out and be the Marcus Rashford that we know we've got than a game like this. It's a must-win game. Get him out there. He'll do a number for us. He's got the energy. He's quicker than Pogba. You know what I mean? All right, he might be not quite as sort of technical on the ball at a standstill, but he's going to cause more of a problem, in my opinion, than Paul Pogba will. If Paul Pogba's on that pitch and he's trying to do too much with the ball and starts dawdling, Leicester will be all over it. Wallop will get dispossessed. It'll go pinging, go ponging. There'll be sloppy passes. Bruno will get panicked.
Pinging and ponging.
And then we're going to see it again. We're going to see it again, aren't we? Them crazy passes from Bruno. And everyone going, he keeps giving the ball away. And you're going, yeah, okay, he gives the ball away. But if he makes one good pass, he's done his job. But we don't want to keep seeing that in games, do we? We want to see more control. But that's our problem.
What, pinging and ponging?
Time and time again, we've said our problem is sustaining attacks.
I think for me, lads, the one thing that concerns me about Rashford that's been different this time than other times is it seems like this time it's more than just a loss of form. It seems like to me there's something going on where he's not happy, where it's mental maybe. In the past, you know, Rashford, I've always rated Rashford and I've taken pelters for it. I still feel Marcus Rashford on form is a nightmare to mark. You know, he's quick, he scores goals. And he's had some good games against Leicester, to be fair, over the years. But for the first time watching Marcus Rashford now, I feel like the problems are a little more than just natural ebb and flow of form in football. I see it, like you saw his reaction, and I don't necessarily blame him, right? No one gets to decide what it is that pushes a human being over the edge. It may be something entirely benign, but just accumulation of incident after incident after incident. Eventually, you catch someone in a weak moment. I had no issue with what Rashford did, really, to be honest.
Do you not agree?
I just feel like maybe it's more than just form, you know.
Do you not agree with Rashford? You've got to put yourself like he's one of our own. You know, he's been
yes, man, 100%.
Right?
Agreed.
But look at it from this point of view. He's there. He's got it. He's come through in the theatre of dreams. This club that we were dominating, winning, stable, everything's like on a level all the time, consistently. He gets his time to shine. He starts to shine, and what happens? Whoosh! We're all over the shop, collapsed in every kind of fashion you can think of. And I believe that is a big part of what's going on in his mindset as well. Is he's that is going to have an impact on his own playing ability. You know, having all these problems going on at the club, the instability, the insecurities, the chopping and the changing, and everything else. You can't. How can you settle as a player when you've got a specific style of play? And I know people argue the fact that maybe he needs to change this and maybe he needs to change that. But even more so, it's the club around him that needs to.
No, it's the first shit. It's the first shit for all the players, lads. You know, including Maguire, Pogba, everyone else. I have no problem with Pogba wanting to leave. I don't blame him. You know, I'm not saying that that he's blameless. They're all responsible. But if you're a top footballer, I mean, Pogba was told when he came in, United are 3 years away from winning a league title.
Yeah, a lot of players have been made like false promises. I think it comes down to that. I got to go back to what Phil was saying about Rashford with like that extra thing that might be bothering him, because I reckon he is not taking the pressure well, because I think he did swear at that fan who said, you know, why can't you come over and sign things or whatever he said. It seemed like he did blow up there and do a middle finger. It almost reminds me of Will Smith blowing up against Chris Rock. But we're going to see Rashford blow up like that and maybe slap someone in the future.
But lads, you know what I mean? We all have to accept they're human beings. Like, imagine putting on social media and just getting slaughtered every day. Like, I was thinking about this with Jesse Lingard. Like, it doesn't matter how much money you make. You don't stop being human. And, you know, if you listen to publishers, for example, one of the things they tell authors is never read the book reviews, because you'll get a million positive comments and you'll fixate on the one negative. That's just human nature, right? And so I'm not saying there should be some resilience, but the problem with United is it's the best place in the world to be when things are going well, and it's the worst place in the world to be when things are not, because crescendo of abuse. I mean, we're talking about a guy that, you know, I just wanted to pick up one thing where we were saying this was, you know, previous eras. A guy just went to jail for racially abusing Marcus Rashford, right? And so this is still happening today, lads. And what these boys put up with on the field,
crazy.
It's on. But I mean, we have people defending war criminals because their entertainment is more important than someone else's human rights. This is insane, right? And they're human beings, and I never want to hear someone, he makes this much. It's got nothing to do with anything, how much money he makes. And he didn't get a contract from a community outreach program, right? He got a contract because he's an exceptional athlete who makes Manchester United a lot of money. So he doesn't need to be grateful to anybody because he plays for Manchester United or the contract that he got, nor does he need to.
Bang on, Phil. Fucking bang on, son.
OMONDI, you're a team. Bro. Go on, OMONDI. Don't keep Baby in the corner. He's here for it.
Yeah, I like a team, especially like Harry Maguire leading the defence. The defence is fine with me. I want Matic in midfield. I'm with Eddie on that. I think Matic gives you a bit of control. I do remember when we played Leicester last season, they played a quick 1-2 around him and scored. But I think Matic, I think TalkMU said he would go getting caught high up the field. Matic is very experienced. He's very got good positional sense. If anyone get caught high up the field, it's Fred or McTominay getting ahead of the play, that sort of thing. So I think we need to be really compact. I do agree. They got Fofana back. from the broken leg, terrible broken leg. I'm glad he's back, but they probably play a back three and wing backs. We've had trouble against Wolves, Atletico Madrid, teams with three at the back recently. So we need to be really mindful of that. So that's why I wouldn't play Pogba. I'd play someone who's going to work back and just have the starting position, one of these wide men, have a starting position a bit deeper, and so we don't get caught out by the wing backs and overrun in midfield. I feel like Ronaldo up top. I think Sancho has to play, and I would possibly play Elanga, Matic in there with maybe dropping Fred and then options off the bench. But good side, Errol.
I was going to say give Fred the armband, but who am I to say that?
One more thing. Sorry, just my thing on this, because I think even though we say Leicester's not important and we've got bigger worries, they've lost like 5 of the last 6 away games. Something's wrong with them. They probably at this stage of the season, you get teams in relegation who can turn over teams, anyone in the league. You get teams in the mid-table who are just like, yeah, let's just get to the end of the season, not really worried. And I think teams like us who are fighting for something and fighting for Europe or fighting for top 4, fighting for the title, we have to win. And I think it's a great opportunity, like Phil said, to win this game. They are on their knees, and we need to really put them to the sword.
There's a bottom on there. They do have a lot. They have a good amount of possession, Leicester. They do have a good amount of possession of the ball. But like you just said, I agree. They are there for the taking. So I think this is why we need the two kind of more box-to-box players, i.e. Fred and Scott, rather than Matic being, that other, you're saying, more defensive-minded. But he does, as we have seen it in, I can't remember whichever last game, he does sometimes get too far at the pitch. He gets a little bit ahead of himself, and then you start panicking and you go, oh, crap. He's lost the ball, and then he's having to try and work back. So he does panic.
In a good team, another player would fill in for him. That's how it goes. So
but we're not at it. That's the problem we've got. We can't seem to make that work. But like I say, I mean, I'm pretty confident. We'll get to the predictions, but I'm pretty confident that we are in the right mindset right now after the long break and everything else. Go on, Solo.
Sorry, Jay, Billy, Josh. Sorry, we missed this because when we put in that small screen, really appreciate that. Thank you so much for that. Yeah, when it goes to a small screen, we can't see it, so really appreciate that. Thank you so much. OMONDI, before we go into guys, start hitting your score prediction in now. OMONDI's got loads of questions, loads of things. Seriously, there's so much there on Monday. I looked up earlier and I think there was like nearly 56 comments. So good luck.
Wow. So guys, this is all about the team selection. Brace yourself, Solo. You're going to be getting pelters. From halftime says Varane travelled, Ronaldo hasn't, but it's a home game, isn't it? Is it a home game?
It's a home game.
Yeah, it's a home game.
But also, so halftime saying it's not a bad team, Solo. I think we might see Matic as he hasn't played for a month. You've seen a lot of him in the training ground. Got Sarah got in the house. How you doing? Says Tillemans, we talked about him earlier in the week, didn't we? One of the shows. It's still available for Leicester. They're number 10. They could cause problems. Here we've got a opinion from J. Billy Josh. He says De Gea, Lindelof, Varane, Dalot, Telles, fullbacks, Matic, Fred, and Bruno, and Sancho, Elanga, and Ronnie. That's a good team.
That's a good team.
I want to say hi to man from there. He's all the way from Toronto in Canada.
Beautiful Canada.
Yeah.
Pat Lawless is saying he would have started with Matic 4 years ago. All right, that's Sarah saying, but McTominay's poor out of possession, never available to receive the ball, a poor outlet. Barstein saying Fred won't start. He's just back from international duty and didn't start the last time that was the case. So Matic is dreadful, says Patrick. Not our Paddy. Man from there says Rashford needs a red sofa. Man from there also saying Fred is better put up. Pat Lawless saying Elanga in your team versus would you exchange Pogba for Elanga? That's something I probably would do as well. Sarragon saying Rashford needs to simplify his game. Too many knuckleball shots. That's a great comment. Big Gob Bob, this is his lineup. He says De Gea in goal, right back Dalot, Brown and Maguire, left back Telles. But McTominay, Fred, McTominay, Fred, Fernandez, Rashford, Sancho,
yes, big God. Yes, big God. On my page there.
And someone on my page is Sarragon who says Hannibal should have an opportunity. Tunisia in the World Cup. He hopefully will be seen him the end of the year in the World Cup. I think he's going to start playing a lot more. Rich Sports is saying press the like.
Rich.
Make sure you do it, Rich. Yeah, thank you, Rich.
Thank you, Rich. Big up.
Nice, good.
he's giving a shout for Leicester here, what we could be up against. He's saying Schmeichel is a back three here, Evans, Fofana, and the Turk. We've got Justin, who someone said could be injured, Dewsbury Hall, Telemans, the Belgian Tascadan, Maddison as a 10, Inacho, and Barnes on the left inside forward. Billy J said...
It's Maddison who's the threat. It's Maddison we've really got to keep our eye on in that game. Really.
De Gea, Lindelof, Savran, Dallos, Tellez. Everyone's picking Tellez. Matic, Fred, and Bruno. And up front, Sancho, Langa, Ronnie up front. So we've done all this. Yeah, and final one here from Big Gob. Leicester are unbeaten in the last 4 games against Manchester United and have won the last 3.
Yep, they have. And it's been a battering as well. Absolute battering. So, guys, score and prediction. And one of our owners in the building.
Rebel, how you doing?
Big up, Rebel.
Rebel Irishman in the building.
So, guys, score prediction.
Look at a quick form guide first.
Oh, okay, go on.
Wow.
So, quick form. Yeah, don't even. Spurs is on the up at the moment, it seems, and even Watford is on the up.
Spurs' defeat came from us, so let's be proud of that.
Smile, innit? The big smile.
And Leicester, where are they in the table? They're 13th on the slide. And,
is this one of the last 5 games, lads?
Yes.
Wow, I didn't realize Spurs were sitting in first. Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah, they've only lost 1 against United.
Yeah.
And we're sitting
we need this, man. Let's do this.
We need it. So that's a form guide. We were going to put up about what Leicester's formation we might think it is. But instead, guys, get your score prediction in. Because we know what Omonde is all about. And we can only guess what his score prediction will be. Yeah, I know. It's negativity all around the house already. So let's get the score prediction in, guys. So let's kickstart it with... Eddie, score prediction, please, sir.
I was just thinking for the last few minutes, man, and I'm not feeling good. I'm going to be honest. I won't have the energy that I've seen a lot from Monday, because when I try and get inspiration for trying to support Man United at the moment, I'm looking for Monday and seeing what things he says.
I'm not looking for Monday for no inspiration because I know his score prediction.
It might be negative as well, but yeah, I don't feel good about this. It could be a draw, because I just see that Leicester might have like the pressure taken off them because they're in mid-table. They're not really much to play for. They may just go out there and think, okay, last 10 games of the season or whatever it is, let's go out there. We're unbeaten against these guys in the last few games. They might play with the freedom, which I hope they don't. I hope they don't play with that. But yeah, I can see a little bit. I can see a draw, especially if McTominay plays. For me, that's a deal breaker for me.
You don't rate him? No. You don't rate McTominay at all, mate? No.
Like I said earlier, Phil, the lack of control on the ball, the way he wobbles when he's trying to dribble forward.
He wobbles.
That's not good enough for me from what I see.
Wibble wobble.
Man. I reckon 1-1, and I'm hoping I'm wrong.
I'm on there.
Awesome. That's amazing, man. I'm gonna keep that one.
So I've got Rebel here. He's
I'm on there.
for a Monday. He says Man United win 1-0, control the game, see the game out. This is what Ralph wants. This is what I want. I think the key thing for us here is that we need to get the points, and I think it's all scripted. We're gonna, with Ronaldo in the side, we're gonna get the top 4. Maybe it might be last day of the season, but we are Man United. We write history, and we're gonna, from the position we're in right now, it looks like bleak, but I think we're still gonna do it. And it starts from tomorrow. We've got to turn up the heat now and start getting the results. However, any which way but lose, Right turn, Clyde. And I think also it's really important that we tune in on Monday as well and hope Vieira does the business against Arsenal, because that's really what we're in the runnings for, and Spurs as well. So it's really exciting getting down to the end of the season now. Let's hope we can get behind the side, stop booing players, get encourage players. Doesn't matter who, even McTominay, Eddie, even Maguire, Paddy. Let's just encourage players and get behind them.
On Monday, will he be back in Fred then if he does play?
I will back Fred as long as it means we can get a DVD about this season, and the DVD will include the Man United agenda and all the ups and downs we've been through. And they can take clippings from here too.
Just for $5.99.
Yeah, exactly.
Windmilling, yeah, he's
With
taking
a free hoodie thrown in.
There you
That's
go.
my score one level.
Oh, brilliant. Absolute brilliant. Let's go to Phil. Phil, your score prediction. What do you reckon?
So if you look at United, I think it'd be a narrow win. One of the things that's frustrating about United is how poor they are in the final third. I know lots of people talk about their created chances, but in many ways they're creating the same chance. Knock it out wide, put the ball in the box, hopes open breaks. Unless they catch you on the counter attack where your players are not set. Once players get set against United, they find it really hard to quicken up the speed of the pass and movement and cut you open. They do. If you remember, lads, when United played against Fulham, I think it was under Moyes, they had something like 49 crosses. And yes. And I still see United doing that. Right? Knock it out wide, boom. It's almost muscle memory. So I still feel that they have problems with creativity. And if you look against Norwich, you look against a lot of the teams in the bottom of the table, the Newcastle game, with maybe the exception of Leeds, United weren't scoring goals in those games, creating lots of opportunities. Who was it they played a couple of weeks ago at Old Trafford, and they Alanga missed them chance after chance after chance after chance.
I think that's a Watford game.
Watford. And guys, if you look at how United drop points, it's almost you can see how fragile it is. Go a Villa 2-0 up, 2 each within 2 minutes. Leeds 2-0 up, 2 each within a couple of minutes. Right, same goals to back post, someone not tracking the runner.
Leicester City, Leicester as well. Leicester as well, same thing.
And so so you can see how fragile everything is. United. So I don't expect them to score a lot of goals. They've got this ridiculous Cavani situation. So just on that, Ralph Rangnick said something about Cavani, I think it was about December. And he said, he's the only player we have at the football club that can play with his back to goal. That is a disgrace to me, right? And if you look at what United have been doing, we talk about Declan Rice here, but they've been kicking the striker thing down the road since Rooney, right? So what they've done, Ibrahimovic, they've done Falcao on a loan, right? Ronaldo, right?
Igalo.
Yeah, exactly, mate. And they're been signing these players at the end of their contract on short-term contracts in the hope that it ties them over. Then, of course, we have Cavani now. And now we have a situation where this summer, because they kicked that can continuously down the road, now they need 150 million pound players, because now they need a defensive midfielder and now they need a striker, right? And Declan Rice is a very, very good young player. The problem with Declan Rice is he's represented by his brother, and they're not the most intelligent individuals in that arena.
We've seen what family can do for you, man. Just ask Kane with his brother.
Yeah, exactly. Same situation.
And he's still at Spurs.
Right. and I see United being linked with Harry Kane, and I'm like, the last time United signed a striker at 29, which was Robin van Persie, Ferguson had to really push the boat out. They got the Glazers to do it. I think the idea that they're going to go and spend 150 million pounds on Harry Kane at 29 is just pure insanity, right? So, and when I see City being linked with Holland, right, I see United's rivals, Liverpool being linked with top strikers, and then United being linked with Tommy Abraham. That concerns me.
Yeah. Okay. There is 21 in the chat. If you're new to the channel, hit that like and subscribe button, guys. Show the channel some support. It doesn't cost to hit the subscribe. It doesn't cost to hit the like either, if you're new to the channel, guys. Also, score prediction, please, sir.
Yeah, simple from me. 3-0 United.
Wow.
Right.
Bold, isn't it?
It'll be done in the first half, in my opinion. We're going to set 100 mile an hour all over them. They're not going to know what's hit them. We'll get 2 in the first half. Then second half, Marcus Rashford, if he doesn't start, will come on and get a third.
What's your Twitter ID, big man?
It's at iTalkMU.
iTalkMU. I want to make sure I'm following everyone, lads. So,
yeah, no worries.
Okay. And,
So-
same yourselves, lads. So make sure I have everyone's Twitter ID.
Yeah.
Let's stay on after the show. We exchange.
We'll stay
details.
back after
Yeah,
the show.
yeah.
Yeah, don't go. Just stay
nice.
behind the scene.
Can I
So,
just
guys-
ask Talk why he's so confident about this game? To be
I'm
like-
going 3-1. I'm
Just-
going 3-1.
look,
I'm going 3-1.
Look,
Why-
like I
where's
said,
the
for me,
confidence
the
come
thing, this top four thing now, for me, we're in a great position now. We see if all these rumors, I know it's rumors, but if they are all sort of true about what's been said about the players have been told who the next manager is going to be, that settles things down immeasurably. They know there's a tangible target here now. It's the top four. They know they can do it. We've done it so many times before. They've got the quality to do it. They've got the temperament to do it. We've just got to, have that kind of discipline now. This is about discipline in listening to what Ralph is telling them to do, not deviating from it. And when it comes to Arsenal, I'll just say this: their discipline is going to be their problem. Also combined with the fact that now they find themselves in a position they didn't even think they was going to find themselves in. You ask any Arsenal fan, do you think he was going to be in top four at this stage of the season? No, not by. So they've got a lot to deal with, and I don't think they're going to have what it takes to actually see this over the line.
Because they're rookies, but Talk, you said temperament on Man United side. We've seen that Man United are one half FC a lot of the time.
Well,
really, have they got the temperament though?
So
but
true.
that's about so led to believe that's about energy and fitness. Now, for me, I mean, you look at it, you go, okay, there is an argument about the fitness thing, but I don't know. I think there's more to it than that. I think Ralph may have more to answer for than we actually realise when it comes to how we've been approaching games, second half, first half, and all the rest of it. Because if you go back to just before Ralph got the job, was we showing signs of that? First half, second half? Not really.
No, we were losing 4-1 at Watford and 5-0.
And
but we
were there.
Hang on a minute, though. Remember, what was one of the first things Solskjaer said when he came in? I want United to be the fittest team in the league. United have had fitness issues forever.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. And that, to me, is unforgivable. You're listening to the Southampton manager talking about United players cheating, right? Or when they're not in possession, you're not putting it 100%. To me, fitness is a basic, bare minimum expectation you have a professional athlete. And if they're taking the thing don't fit,
that's what separates Sunday football league players to professional Premiership players. That's why I should be. If I was fitter, oh my god.
You'd be kicking
on Monday would be captain of Man United.
I believe the fitness is there. But I believe there's things being asked of the team here that is not quite working out because of the mismatch and the imbalances in the squad. It's becoming evident. I don't buy into that kind of. They can just go out for 45 minutes and their legs are gone. I don't buy that one for 1 minute.
No, you're right, man. That's what we have.
Guys, we talk about imbalance and all that kind of thing. We've four of us have predicted a win. There's only one person here had to imbalance
imbalanced us, Eddie.
It's you, Eddie. It's you, Eddie.
Yeah, come on, Eddie. Give us a better score.
We're trying to. We're out here looking for harmony. You're the one causing confusion.
So, Ed, what's your crack here?
On Monday, you want a real score, there, isn't it? Like, you don't want me to lie.
What's your crack, Ed?
You want me to lie and be positive. I can't. It's not really the best.
Come on, Eddie. Say 4-0 and we'll be happy.
5-0.
You watch. I'll be a jinx if I say that. I'll jinx.
Oh
God!
On Monday, Ed, do you think United are going to lose 3-1?
No, I didn't say. I said 1-1.
Oh, 1-1 draw.
Yeah.
1-1. On Monday, would you mind just going through some of these now, guys? Quick. On Monday, just from here.
There's a lot of infighting. This one talk about balance. So, Ole saying 3-1 to Leicester. We saw that one.
Yeah, it's literally Rebel ones we're doing.
Rebel saying 2-1 and 2-1 from Saragon as well. And he's saying Garnacho, the Argentinian. Congratulations to him going and playing with the national side in Argentina. What a talent. And Leicester will win. Leicester will go with a 3-4-1-2. And Man United will win 2-1. And obviously, Managerial 1-0. 2-1 to Leicester, says Patrick.
Oh, God, yeah. A quick one, actually. We got to wrap up. Jesus. We can send it backstage, but Talk got to go. Talk's got to jump off. Right. Quick one. Let's wrap it. Thanks, guys, for everyone who's tuning in. If you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button and like button as well. Been some really insightful comments tonight. We couldn't get through every single one of them. We've had nearly 500 comments that came through tonight, so we did our best with it. Guys, if you're new to the channel, hit the like and subscribe button. It will be our 1 year anniversary this coming Monday, so we will be celebrating it. Thank you so much for that. So, Eddie, where can we find you, sir? Also, we are giving you the chance to win yourself a hoodie of the Man United Agenda. Just join the stream on Monday, and then we'll tell you how to win it. Oops, 1 second, Eddie. Let's get you up there. So, Eddie, where can we find you, sir?
Yeah, I just want to say congratulations to you guys on your anniversary. Hope you guys get to the next level. I think you guys are on 1.6K, is it?
No, nearly like 1.5, almost 1.5.
1.5. So, you know, on and upwards. Hope you get to 2K. Everyone, hit the subscribe. But yeah, for myself, I'm doing my channel. It's Eddie's Football Waffle. That's Eddie with a Y. And yeah, I just have like little bits of commentary here and there, a bit of humor. I'm trying to come up with an animation for the next one that I'm going to release. It's going to be based on like the Glazers doing like a Zoom call with Ralph, so look out for that. And just want to say thanks again for you guys for having me on. I really appreciate you guys reaching out.
Brilliant. And the man in himself, where can we find you? So let's move this off this for you, Phil.
Yeah, lads, you can find me at Malachians, and been on there a long time, or at Beyond the Pitch. In fact, my podcast celebrated 12th year anniversary yesterday. So during that time, it's been an unbelievable journey. I got to interview footballers like I never would have believed. You know, Mateus, Nesta, Keane, Schmeichel, Scholes, you know, just Bruno Fernandes, you know, I've been very lucky, lads. You know, it's a labour of love. It's something that I love to do, just like yourselves. You know, you're doing an exceptional podcast, show, whatever. You know, and this is just something. It's an outlet for us to talk about something that we love. You know, and if someone wants to listen to it, that's a tremendous bonus. So I want to say a massive thank you to each and every one of you lads for having me on.
Brilliant,
and considering me worthy to be on. It's a privilege. You're all fantastic lads, and keep doing the great work, keep doing what you're doing, and yeah, that's where you can find me. But truthfully, it's good to seek out new content. I'm old school. Give these lads a download, follow, check out new content, and amplify it. Don't just listen. Retweet it, tell your friends, and help each other grow, lads, because, you know, we're all competing against big broadcasters. We should help each other, and the voice of the fans, yourselves, it's fantastic stuff. So well done. Thanks for having me on, lads.
Thank you. And we hopefully have you on soon as well, another time as well. Brilliant.
Anytime at all, lads. My privilege. And I'd like to return the favour. I'd love to have some of you lads on my pod from time to time, if you don't mind.
Thank you. Yeah, guys, Phil, you can stay back if that's okay. We're going to end now. 100%. But guys, thank you all for watching, because now you can actually go and watch another show we're late for now. It's called the Friday Night Takeaway, where you'll find Mr. B and TalkMU. And there's one more. I think he's got 2 guests on the show tonight. I think they've got 2 guests. One's an Arsenal fan. Oops. But good luck with that, guys. Good luck. Happy days. Yeah, that should be quite nice anyway. But from all of us at the Man United Agenda, please like, please share, please subscribe. And we'll see you on the other side in about 30 seconds. So thank you all for watching, and good night.
No, lads.